Hi, welcome back to our Traffic Safety Series. I'm Tara DeStefano with the Highway Safety Network. I'm the Community Traffic Safety Project Coordinator for Berks County. This week, we're talking bike safety. I recruited my son to help me demonstrate some of the important aspects of bike safety. As you will see, there are 3 things that we need to think about before bike riding. First, we need to think about checking our bike and making sure it's safe for riding. Next, we need to make sure that we are dressed appropriately for riding. And finally, we need to make sure that we know the rules of the road. So we're going to start out by checking our bike.
First, I need to do an inspection of my bike. I need to make sure my bike is in safe condition for riding. If I don't check my bike before riding, that could lead to anything from a minor inconvenience to a major safety risk. Let's take a look. I want to check my tires. I'm going to make sure there is enough air in the tires. I can feel the tires to see if they feel soft, also use a gauge to see what the pressure is. I check the side of the tires to see what the PSI or pounds per square inch for inflation guidelines. Also look for cuts, cracks, and bald spots. If you have them, it's time for a new tire and you should not ride your bike until they are replaced. Riding on damaged tires could be very dangerous. Next, nothing can get you into trouble on a bike quicker than not being able to stop when you need to. So if your brakes have been squealing lately, you know they need to be looked at. Better yet, let's make sure they are in working order before they get a chance to squeal. How I check my brakes. I start by visually inspecting my brake pads. I replace them if there's less than a quarter inch of the pad left. Then I turn my bike over or lift one end at a time off the ground. Spin the wheel. If the brake pads rub the rim, adjust them so that they don't. Check the levers. There should be approximately 2 inches of space between the brake lever and the handlebar before squeezing. Now squeeze the lever until the brake is fully engaged on the rim. There should be about 1 inch or the width of your thumb between the lever and the handlebar. If not, I will need to adjust the tension in the brake cable. Also, check to make sure that the sides of the brakes engage and squeeze the rim. If not, I'll have to make an adjustment so that they do. Next is the crankset and chain. You can start with the crankset. Visually inspect them for cracks and dents. Next, check the crank arms, not the pedal, by gently shaking it. There shouldn't be any loosening. If there is, I'll need to tighten the bolt. Next, I check my pedals. If they don't spin freely and evenly, or if you feel some rocking motion when pedaling, you probably have a bent pedal or crank arm, and will likely need to replace the one giving you trouble. Finally, the chain. I inspect the chain for damage and wear. If a chain looks loose, it may slip. A too loose chain needs to be replaced. Now, since we are talking about bicycle safety, we need to review some safety equipment on the bike. Being safe means being seen. So, the first safety items bicycles should have are reflectors. Reflectors are recommended for both front and back of the bike, but a red reflector mounted on the rear fender or back of the saddle is a must. In the US, reflectors on pedals are now requirements on new bikes. If your bike doesn't have them, consider getting them. Reflectors that fit in the spokes are also a good idea for both front and rear wheels.
Lights are important if you will be riding at night. Consider a front white light with a steady beam and a rear red light with either a steady or flashing beam. If you're going to be riding in traffic, consider attaching an orange flag that extends several feet above the bike. You might also want to think about using a rear view mirror on the handlebars, and a horn or bell is a good idea too. Now that you checked your bike and made sure it is in working order and safe to ride, you need to make sure that you are dressed appropriately to ride. Always wear closed-toed shoes, never open-toed sandals or flip-flops, and never ride barefoot. If your shoelaces always seem to come open, you should double knot them and tuck in the laces so they don't get caught around the crankshaft or pedals. Always wear bright colored clothes and consider a jacket or other clothing with fluorescent materials or reflective tape. They'll help others see you better. And as for pants, avoid ones with loose pant legs that can get caught in the bike's chain. The golden rule for bike safety is never ride without a helmet. The risk of brain injury caused by a bike crash is very real and very serious. So serious, in fact, that Pennsylvania currently has a law that requires children under the age of 12 to wear a helmet. We want to make sure that we're wearing a helmet that's the right size, fits properly, and is secured and won't fall off. We only have one brain, so we must protect it. Now we're going to use the 2-2-2 method for fitting our helmet. We want to make sure and check that there's no more than 2 fingers width between our eyebrows and the bottom of the helmet. Then, the strap should form a V under and slightly in front of the ears. Finally, no more than 2 fingers should fit under the strap. Now that we have checked our bike and made sure we are appropriately dressed for biking, let's talk about the rules of the road. Bikes ride with the flow of traffic, not against it. Bicycles are considered vehicles and should be traveling with traffic. And since they are vehicles, they should adhere to traffic laws. That means stopping at stop signs and traffic lights. Bicycles must obey all traffic laws that cars are required to follow. When riding on the road, cyclists should watch for parked cars pulling out of parking spots and for doors opening. Bicyclists should ride far enough into the lane to avoid being hit by a car door opening. Bicyclists must also be predictable. And since bicycles don't have turn signals or brake lights on them, we need to tell traffic what we are planning on doing by using hand signals. Let's go over the hand signals. We use our left arm to signal. Straight out to the left indicates left turn. Hand up and elbow bent means right turn. Hand down and elbow bent with palm facing traffic behind us tells traffic we are about to stop. An alternate way to tell traffic we are turning right is by using our right arm extended to the side, similar to the left turn. Finally, stay alert at all times. Just like distracted driving is dangerous for drivers and cars, it's also dangerous for bike riders. That means when you're riding your bike, you shouldn't be using earbuds or AirPods or be looking at a cell phone. When riding a bike, it's important to be able to hear and see traffic, and we can't do that if we are distracted. All of this applies to our older riders, but where should our younger riders ride? Anyone under 10 years old should ride on the sidewalk. But riding on the sidewalk comes with its own set of rules to follow. Sidewalk riders should be aware of driveways and watching for cars backing out of those driveways. They should also pay attention to pedestrians. When they get to an intersection, a rider must stop and look left, right, then left again to make sure it's safe to cross the street. They must also adhere to electronic walk signals. And when riding, always remember safety first. We don't want to engage in dangerous behaviors such as riding hands-free or too many people on the bicycle. We always want to be practicing safe behaviors to have a fun and safe riding experience.
Thanks for joining me again this week, and I hope you found the topic interesting and learned something that you didn't know. And remember, smart and safe riders always wear their helmets.